What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 2. Top DFS picks.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for this week's NFL slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, let's take a look at the quarterback position. My top DFS pick for NFL Week 2 is Marcus Mariota from the Atlanta Falcons, playing the LA Rams, who have the 4th worst defense overall. They give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Marcus Mariota scored 21 fantasy points last game, and I like this pick because he got 12 rush attempts. Now, he's only projected at 16.5 fantasy points here in Week 2, but I think that projection is a little bit low. I think he can go for another 20 plus fantasy points, and he's only $5,600 DraftKings salary, $1,700 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 47.5 points scored in this game, and they have the Atlanta Falcons trailing by 10.5. Fantastic matchup. I think his salary is way too low for his rushing upside, so I like Super Mario Marcus Mariota here versus the LA Rams. Okay, my top DFS pick for Week 2 at the running back position is Leonard Fournette from the Tampa Bay Bucks, playing the New Orleans Saints, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They're giving up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Leonard Fournette scored 19 fantasy points last week off of 21 rush attempts and 2 pass targets. He's projected at 16.3 fantasy points here in Week 2. He's $6,700 DraftKings salary, $1,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 44.5 points scored in this game, with the Bucks favored by 3. So Leonard Fournette, I think he's going to be the workhorse back for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Already starting off with over 20 touches in Week 1, and his salary is still relatively low. So I like Leonard Fournette here versus the New Orleans Saints.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My top DFS pick at the wide receiver position for Week 2 is Michael Pittman Jr. from the Indianapolis Colts, playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have the 2nd worst defense overall. They give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Michael Pittman Jr. scored 30 fantasy points last week off of 13 pass targets. He's projected at 15.7 fantasy points here in Week 2. He's $6,700 DraftKings salary, $1,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 46.5 points scored in this game, and they have the Colts favored by 4. So just a ton of volume, fantastic matchup. His price tag is still reasonable. He was excelling every single game that he played last year. Now he starts off Week 1 with a bang. I think this is going to be a wide receiver you got to keep your eye on. So I like Michael Pittman Jr. here versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My top DFS pick at the tight end position, I'm going to give you 2 here. The first one is Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders playing the Arizona Cardinals, who have the worst defense overall, give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Darren Waller scored 12 fantasy points in week 1 off of 6 pass targets. He's projected at 13 fantasy points here in week 2. He's still only 5,600 DraftKings salary, 1,200 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 51.5 points scored in this game, with the Raiders favored by 5.5. So Darren Waller, he's got some major upside if he can get going. He's got the best possible matchup on paper here in week 2. And I think he can break out for 20 plus fantasy points. Salary is still low. So I like Darren Waller here versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now the other tight end that I like is Tyler Higbee from the LA Rams playing the Atlanta Falcons, who have the second worst defense overall, give up the second most fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Tyler Higbee scored 9 fantasy points in week 1 off of 11 pass targets. He was on the field for 94% of the snaps, projected at 9.2 fantasy points here in week 2, and he's only 4,200 DraftKings salary, 1,100 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 47.5 points scored in this game, with the Rams favored by 10.5. So he's got a fantastic matchup. Salary is still super low. 11 pass targets last week. I think that continues. I think he's going to get at least 6 or 7 pass targets here in week 2. So I like Tyler Higbee here versus the Atlanta Falcons.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.